So hey everyone, welcome back to Rebecca's Colouring Arts and Crafts. So first things first, just advance warning, I'm just recording this on my mobile, hence sorry if it's a little shaky. It's just because my hand and wrist still isn't good for setting up my camera, and same with my foot and ankle, so I'm just recording this in my room. Secondly, I wanted to say thank you very much to Bloomsbury Australia for sending me a copy of this book for review. Unfortunately, my copy got lost in the mail thanks to Australia Post. Grumble, grumble. So instead, I'm using my Waterstones exclusive copy that I pre-ordered with the red sprayed edges to record this review, because I still greatly appreciate that Bloomsbury sent me a copy of the book to review, and so I wanted to do this. So I'm using my Waterstones exclusive with the red sprayed edges and my pre-order poster here as part of my background to review this. So yeah, I really appreciate them sending me a copy for review. I wish Australia Post hadn't lost it, but it is what it is. So we're going to do the review based using the Waterstones exclusive copy of Crescent City. So anyway, I'm going to start here with a bit of our characters. And I have probably missed some of these characters that are regularly mentioned, not deliberately by any means. It's just I did what I could because I really struggled writing this out with my hand and wrist the way it is. So yeah, I've done the best I can. So I'm going to start with the characters and then work on to a bit of the storyline and stuff like that. So our characters are Bryce Quinlan, who is our main character in this story. She is half human, half fae. She does have full civitas because a lot of humans or half-breeds don't have that, but she does have that due to the fact her father is the Autumn King of the Fae. So I'm just going to add this in here now. To be full civitas, you must take on one of the 4 houses of Midgard. Her father wanted her to take on House of Sky and Breath, which is for the Malachi angels, Fae, elementals, sprites who were kicked out due to participation in the fall. However, Bryce decided to instead take on the House of Earth and Blood, which contains shifters, humans, witches, ordinary animals, and many others. There are also the House of Many Waters, which is river sprites, spirits, mer, water beasts, nymphs, kelpies, nox, and others. And there's the House of Flame and Shadow, which is more your evil type, not necessarily evil type creatures, but creatures that don't necessarily do things for the best. So that is Demonarchy, Reapers, Wraiths, Vampire, Draki, Dragons, Necromancers, and many other wicked and unnamed things. So basically like your demons or just more not nice creatures, I guess you could say. Creatures that are happy to do things that cause mayhem or mischief and stuff like that. So Bryce is also very much a party girl, but I'll go into why she stopped that later, just because it is a bit of a spoiler and is a major theme in the book. So warning also, there may be some spoilers in this video. I try to keep it as spoiler free as possible, but to do with the storyline, this sort of does need to come up a bit. I probably won't say exactly what happens to the character that causes this storyline, but yeah, it's very much part of that. So then we also have Hunt Alethar, who's an angel, or Malachim. He's part of Micah's 33rd Legion and personal assassin, basically. He's also a slave due to the failed rebellion against the angels. And he's Bryce's guard for their joint investigation they're currently doing. Micah Demetus, I just butchered that. He's basically the governor and leader of Crescent City and the one who puts Hunt and Bryce together for the investigation, along with Bryce's boss, Jessica, who I forget to mention in here. But Jessica is basically a sorceress, and she also runs an antiquities store which contains some, shall we say, not necessarily legal books and stuff in there. And yeah, she's Bryce's boss as well. Sabine, basically Danika's mother, and to be prime apparent, she doesn't like Bryce due to her relationship with Danika and vice versa. Bryce does not like her. Danika, Bryce's best friend, a wolf, and Alpha are the pack of devils. She also has a sword which was supposed to be passed to her mother Sabine, but was instead passed to her by the current prime of the wolves. So that's another reason Danika's mother sort of doesn't really, I guess, get along with Danika or Bryce. Fury, basically an assassin and thief, goes where she's paid to go. She's also a friend of Bryce, Danika, and Juniper, who is a fawn who beat all the odds and is a dancer in a professional ballet company. We also have Ember Quinlan, who's Bryce's mother. She's human and ran away from the Autumn King, who's Fae, when pregnant, in order to save Bryce and prevent herself from being trapped by him. Basically, Bryce has a half-father, Randall something. I can't think of his name right now, but yeah. And that's just a rough rundown of some of the characters that I remembered. And the rough houses of Midgard that you find in Crescent City. This is Sarah J. Maas's first novel, and I can say that I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm not doing ratings anymore just because I want to enjoy and review books honestly and fairly. And I tend to enjoy a lot of books, and I like to give them second chances or third chances when I sort of find it slow going, rather than DNFing them or not reading them anymore. It's just me. I find sometimes you get a surprise and things may be slow to start, but then they get better as they go. This one, I didn't find that with it. I was reading, out of an 800-page book, I was reading on average about 200 to 250 pages a day in this book. So, just because I can't do much else right now. And it was very action-packed and did very much keep you gripped in the storyline, and keeps you glued to the pages. I really loved the humour and growing attraction between Hunt and Bryce as they work together to solve the mystery of the disappearing Fae horn, which is broken, and the deaths of the people who have had contact with the horn, and also working out why bodies are turning up ripped into pieces. That is not necessarily... it's kind of gross, but it's not gross because it fits into the story. It's obviously an adult story, so it's not necessarily for young adults. So, obviously you can have those sorts of details in there. And this leads them all around the different areas of the Crescent City, the different leaders, the different areas. It's just, yeah, it's really good. And it also leads them into all sorts of trouble and setups, and yeah, it's just a lot of all those sorts of things. And I can say it's very fast, very action-packed and fast-flowing. I loved everything about this book, from the different parts / descriptions of the city to the plot and world building, characters and their relationships with each other. Speaking of which, I remember saying I would explain why Bryce was former tense, very much a party girl. This does contain, well, it's not a major spoiler, but it's definitely a spoiler for part of the storyline. And it's a huge part of the plot line and why Bryce and Hunt are working on this case together. So, to the point, basically, you might want to turn off if you don't want this spoiled right now. If you do, if you're happy to keep listening, then keep listening. But basically, to the point, Danica and the pack of devils are killed in the same way as the current murders, by being basically torn to shreds, shall we say, while Bryce is out partying / having fun and dancing with Fury and Juniper. Excuse my moving there, I'm just trying to hold the mobile up. And therefore this causes Bryce to feel like she doesn't deserve to have fun because of what happens, and therefore stops living her life because she is grieving about what happened and doesn't want to give in to that grief, so she tries to bury it. And she also feels if she lets go of that grief, she'll lose Danica and all she meant in her life. Taking on this investigation to solve not only the current murders but also Danica and the pack of devil murders. Doing this along with her relationship with Hunt allows Bryce to finally find closure. So by the end of the book she has found closure, but there is a bit of a cliffhanger at the end. And I can't remember totally what it is, but basically I'm not going to say anything because, well, that leads on to book 2, obviously. Overall, though, I loved everything about Crescent City, and I cannot wait for book 2. Thank you so much again to Bloomsbury Australia for providing me with a copy of this book in exchange for a review. I am sorry that Australia Post lost that copy, but this is the next best thing that I can do. And it really was worth requesting it, and thank you for accepting my request to review it. If you've enjoyed this review, please leave a like, subscribe and comment. I always love hearing from you, and I will respond when I can, because obviously right now I'm in and out of reception. And yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, yeah, just please let me know, and yeah, I hope I will talk to you later. Bye.